Right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Chicago Democrat sues city over plans to turn community park into a migrant shelter. Oh, come on, guys. All right, let's get it. And that's my biggest fear when it comes to a lot of these things. It's like, bro, you can't take away from the community specifically to then give to another, like, new incoming group of people. It's just not the smartest thing in the world, specifically if you want to keep people voting for you, right? I definitely expect Chicago to flip basically any day, guys. Absolutely. But either way, let's go and check it out. Let's jump into it.
More and more black Democrats in Chicago are saying enough is enough when it comes to Biden's migrant crisis.
So in Chicago, illegal immigrants get laundry services, mental health screenings, housing subsidies, and a government ID.
Chicago resident Kata Truss is one Democrat who teamed up with her neighbors, joined others to sue the city over plans to turn a community center into a migrant shelter. And she joins us now with an update on that case. Kata, thank you so much for being here. This shelter is a no-go. You and your neighbors made this happen. Just tell us what's going on with the shelter.
All right, let's go.
Well, right now, it's actually a Chicago Park District facility. And currently, the Park District facility is now up and running. Services are now going on. The children are back in the park. The senior citizens who have come to rely on that park for socialization and just being able to get back together after having gone through COVID are now able to come back to the park.
So, Kata, is there a level of betrayal when you have your park and your community center, and the leaders that were elected to represent you take that and give it to people who aren't from your community, that came across the southern border? Is there a level of betrayal in that?
Oh, there is, I'm sure.
Well, first of all, of course, there's a level of betrayal because there was no forethought, no planning into this. And I have to really say that if Mayor Brandon Johnson had just picked up the phone and called the community that he comes from to ask us if that's something that he should be considering, we would have told him absolutely not. We would have told him that that is something that is not going to fly with the people here in this community,
Okay, so I want to go ahead and point something out really quickly. So Brandon Johnson was in fact elected by the people of the south side of Chicago. If you guys know, south side of Chicago is an extremely impoverished area. It's basically a desert, education desert, food desert, all types of deserts, south side of Chicago. The residents of the south side of Chicago thought by basically getting Mayor Brandon Johnson to become the mayor, that he would then in return help the south side of Chicago, because every single mayor before him has said that there could be no actual aid coming to the south side of Chicago. Then out of nowhere, when these migrants start flooding into Chicago, all of a sudden money exists now, right? What he didn't understand is that maybe he should have, in fact, tried his hardest to help out the south side of Chicago, right? Stop the crime, get more police there, do everything humanly possible to stop this, right? Turn the area from a desert into something potentially thriving, open up the schools, invest in the schools, right? Help education. But again, in return, he did none of these things at all. I'm not sure he's going to make it the next election day. They want him out. And when I said earlier that I do think that Chicago is going to be flipping red pretty much soon, it's based off of a lot of the videos that we've been encountering. Everyone is basically saying, we are not voting for you or anything Biden oriented, right? Every single one of them are saying basically the same exact thing. You cannot say there's no money to do this, and then when all these people come, you then find billions of dollars. All right? That's absolutely insane. But let's go ahead and check it out.
We are very dedicated to our parks and to our community. And so that was just something we were not going to go for.
Right.
Also, the fact is that you are going to attempt to take over the park and not talk to the people, not come to the people, not offer any kinds of suggestions to help the people or to alleviate the stress of what's already going on in a blighted and disinvested in community, and to
Right.
say to us, hey, listen, we got these migrants here. We need some place to put them, and we're going to just take your part. The people here in this community said absolutely not. I went to a meeting with the aldermen, the community, and we came together after the meeting was over, and it was evident that the city had intentions to do this no matter what the people said. I
Right. They didn't
got up the
care.
next day, and one of my neighbors went with me. We went down to the Circuit Court of Cook County, and we filed a motion to stop this from happening.
Kata, what you and your neighbors have experienced and are experiencing is being felt by people across this country, small towns and big cities. And what do you say to President Biden and quite frankly, the people who have opened the border and have let this happen to communities from sea to shining sea?
Well, what I say to President Biden and the entire Democratic Party is that you have missed the mark with this, and you have lost some very committed voters. I myself will be voting Republican in this upcoming election. I have just made up in my mind that this crisis taught me that the Democratic Party will continue to take the voices of the voters for granted.
Absolutely.
I reached
They always have. They absolutely have taken advantage of the fact that that many Black Americans have voted for them pretty much consistently. All they really have to say is, "We're going to do this," and then the majority of Black Americans are going to go and vote for you, kind of no matter what, right? And then guess what happens? Nothing ever happens. There's nothing they promise ever happens. It is the most counterproductive thing you could ever imagine. Stop voting against your own interests. And what's funny about specifically, if you speak about the Black American the Black American community in the United States of America, we can go back really far and find out that there's never been a time where specifically Black Americans have been extremely, let's say, left, I would say. Even if you look at West Africa, specifically where many Black Americans are come from, right? Look at West Africa. There is no hint of of anything left oriented or what would be considered left in the United States of America. That's it, completely. The Republicans generally just have a messaging problem. All right. How things are delivered coming from the right is generally not going to be extremely conducive to pulling Black American votes. It's just not going to happen en masse, and it's because how messages are delivered. The Democrat basically deliver the same exact message but differently. It's like I think someone once told me the reason why they don't vote right is because I'd rather, I think he said, hold on. I'd rather not be punched in my face with words. I don't care that people go home and they may say things and have all these ideologies and things like that, but I'd rather not be, punched in my face with words. And that's how the average Black American that I've encountered ever in my life really has spoken about the right, basically. Right? It's a messaging problem, and it's a good amount of the people that actually subscribe, I'd say also, right? If you want more Black Americans, you need to clean up a lot of what is depicted to the masses, I'd say.
out to every elected official that represents us in this area to sit down and have a conversation about what was happening. And my phone calls went unanswered. No meetings took place. No elected officials stood up or stood with us to fight with us. And even after having gone to City Hall with hundreds of people saying, listen, this is not working. We need to end Chicago's sanctuary city status, at least until we have a hold on what's happening here, at least until we have found a place for the migrants who have already come. And that was back in October. And so buses are still arriving. We're now at 33,000 migrants that have embraced themselves in the city of Chicago, and we really have no means to take care of them. We don't have an adequate place for those people to stay. And so to continue to have them come here, to me, just does not make any sense. And so when you
No.
say that to both local government as well as the President Biden, and no one is listening, we the people have to say, well, you know what? If you're not going to listen to us, then we're going to need to take our votes elsewhere.
You know what,
Do
Kate?
that.
When you have people in need in your community, whether it's with housing or food, and you're giving people who aren't from this country laundry services, you should be outraged. Thank you for filing a suit and standing up and pushing back and fighting back. Good for you. Kata Trust, thanks for being with us.
We'll see you soon.
Thank
you
you.
come back. You keep us posted.
Keep us posted.
We'll talk to you soon, Kata. You keep
Will
fighting.
do.
All right. Yeah, guys, I mean, they have been dealing with this for a long time. And again, just to kind of put a button on this and to kind of reiterate some of the things that we spoke about here, for those who just kind of skipped to the end at least, right? It is extremely important to not say you can't do something. I would love to know why, right? There has to be a reason why the Illinois government, the Chicago government, has not decided to kind of fix the literal blight that is inside of the south side of Chicago. Right? There has to be a reason, right? Let's understand that reason why they say the reason why things can't get done is because of funding. We can't afford it. You obviously could afford it, okay? You obviously could afford it. So there has to be another reason, guys. And once we figure that out, I think we can probably all sleep well, I'd say. But I don't blame her for suing the government, the mayor, bro. I don't blame her at all. I congratulate her. I applaud her on that, actually. Right? But all right, listen, I want you guys to all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.